child tosses a piece of bread into a quiet pond. For a moment, nothing happens. The water looks empty, calm, almost lifeless. Then, the surface explodes. A pair of ancient eyes rise from beneath the water, completely silent, as if they had been waiting there long before anyone arrived. What if something alive today had watched worlds disappear? What if the greatest survivors on Earth didn't win because they were stronger, but because they almost disappeared? And what if the secret that allowed crocodiles to outlive the dinosaurs says something unsettling about our own future? Because 66 million years ago, almost everything changed. Dinosaurs vanished. Entire ecosystems collapsed. The skies darkened. The oceans turned toxic. Nearly 3/4 of all species disappeared. Yet somehow, crocodiles remained. Why? Imagine standing on Earth just hours before the asteroid struck. Forests stretched beyond the horizon. Towering dinosaurs wandered riverbanks. Flying reptiles ruled the sky. Nothing about that world suggested it was living through its final ordinary day. Then came an object nearly 10 kilometers wide. It slammed into what is now Mexico with more energy than billions of nuclear bombs. The Chicxulub impact didn't simply create a crater. It rewrote life itself. But here's the strange part. If destruction was so complete, why were crocodiles still here when the dust finally settled? Scientists first understood the true scale of this disaster in 1980, when physicist Luis Alvarez and geologist Walter Alvarez discovered a thin global layer rich in iridium, a rare element from space. It appeared almost everywhere on Earth, like fingerprints left behind by a cosmic murderer. Their discovery transformed one of science's greatest mysteries. Dinosaurs hadn't slowly faded away. They had been interrupted, suddenly, violently, almost unfairly. Except, if the asteroid was so devastating, why wasn't every large animal erased with it? Now something even stranger happens. Many animals that survived weren't particularly powerful. Some were tiny mammals. Others burrowed underground. Some birds escaped. Freshwater turtles survived. So did certain amphibians and crocodiles. This wasn't survival of the strongest. It seemed closer to survival of the strangely prepared. Prepared for what? To understand that, scientists began looking not at crocodiles themselves, but at the rivers they lived in. Modern observations reveal something remarkable. When food becomes scarce, crocodiles simply stop. They stop hunting. They stop moving. Sometimes they barely even breathe. Their heartbeat slows dramatically. Their bodies enter an energy-saving state that looks almost impossible for a predator. It's as though they quietly press pause on life itself, but could a survival strategy built for dry seasons also survive the end of the world? Researchers studying crocodilian metabolism have found they can survive astonishingly long periods without eating. Months. Sometimes even longer depending on age, temperature, and available energy reserves. For humans, missing meals becomes dangerous within days. For crocodiles, waiting is part of existence. They are not racing against time. They're negotiating with it. But surviving hunger alone couldn't explain surviving an apocalypse, could it? This is where everything changes. Because the asteroid didn't just remove food, it removed sunlight. Dust filled the atmosphere, temperatures crashed, plants died. Then, the animals depending on plants died. Then, predators starved. Food chains didn't break, they disappeared. Imagine being the fastest hunter alive, only to discover there is nothing left to chase. Speed suddenly becomes useless. Strength becomes expensive. Intelligence becomes hungry. So what becomes valuable when the world stops producing life? Consider Tyrannosaurus rex. Massive, powerful, designed to dominate. Every day its enormous body demanded enormous amounts of energy. Every missed meal mattered. Now picture a crocodile lying perfectly still beneath muddy water, its body asking almost nothing from the world. Which animal suddenly has the advantage? The terrifying hunter or the patient survivor? But there was another mystery. Many crocodiles lived in freshwater. Why should that matter? After all, the asteroid affected the entire planet. Except freshwater systems often behave differently from oceans. Rivers continue receiving nutrients from surrounding land. Underground water keeps flowing. Dead organic material accumulates. Life doesn't completely stop. Studies examining fossil records have suggested freshwater ecosystems experienced lower extinction rates than many marine environments. Not untouched, but buffered. Almost like nature had quietly hidden small shelters inside global catastrophe. Did crocodiles accidentally choose the safest neighborhoods on Earth? Then scientists noticed something else. Crocodiles don't need to eat every animal they encounter. They are astonishing opportunists. Fish, birds, mammals, carrion, anything available. Even today, they frequently scavenge dead animals rather than spending precious energy hunting. Imagine walking into a supermarket after disaster. Would you survive longer insisting on your favorite meal or accepting whatever remains? Flexibility begins looking suspiciously like intelligence. Now let's travel even further back, long before the asteroid. More than 200 million years ago, Earth already belonged to crocodile relatives. Back then, they weren't all river ambush predators. Some sprinted across land. Others resembled wolves. Some looked surprisingly dinosaur-like. Many disappeared. Only certain branches endured, which means crocodiles themselves are survivors of countless evolutionary failures. Their family tree isn't a story of perfection. It's a graveyard filled with experiments that didn't last. So why did this particular design refuse to vanish? Evolution often rewards speed until it rewards stability. Fast species evolve quickly. Slow species sometimes outlast everyone. Modern crocodiles changed surprisingly little over millions of years compared to many other groups. Not because evolution stopped, but because their basic blueprint already solved a difficult equation: low energy, powerful bite, flexible diet, aquatic refuge, extreme patience. Not exciting, just effective. Could survival sometimes belong to those who change the least? Here's where it gets even stranger. In 2007, researchers studying crocodilian hearts discovered one of the most sophisticated circulatory systems among reptiles. Unlike most reptiles, crocodilians possess a four-chambered heart similar to birds and mammals, yet they can reroute blood in unusual ways during diving. This allows them to remain underwater for extraordinary periods while conserving oxygen. Imagine watching the sky burn, not from the surface, but hidden beneath dark water, where the chaos above becomes distant echoes. Could the world's deadliest predator also have been one of its greatest escape artists? Of course, not every crocodile survived. Many ancient species vanished. Entire crocodilian lineages disappeared forever. The survivors we see today represent only a tiny fraction of what once existed. Sometimes history tricks us. We imagine crocodiles as invincible because they're still here. But survival often hides invisible losses. How many stories disappeared simply because no descendants remained to tell them? Then there's a lesson hidden inside modern disasters. After hurricanes, droughts, floods, and fires, crocodiles often persist where many larger animals struggle. They relocate, wait, adapt, conserve. Researchers observing American alligators after major hurricanes noticed remarkable resilience despite devastated habitats. Not because disasters didn't affect them, but because their lifestyle already expected instability. Perhaps resilience isn't resisting change. Perhaps it's expecting it. Humans usually admire the spectacular, the fastest runner, the strongest fighter, the smartest inventor. History books celebrate conquerors. Nature often celebrates survivors. Those aren't always the same thing. A civilization can become extraordinarily advanced, yet remain incredibly fragile. Could the same be true for us? Think about modern cities. Every supermarket depends on transportation. Transportation depends on fuel. Fuel depends on global networks. Electricity powers communication. Communication coordinates food. Everything is connected, beautifully, dangerously. The dinosaurs ruled a stable world. We rule an interconnected one. If stability disappeared tomorrow, which species would actually be prepared? In laboratories today, scientists study crocodiles for reasons that extend far beyond paleontology. Their immune systems appear unusually robust. Their wound healing has fascinated researchers for decades. Some studies investigate antimicrobial compounds found in crocodilian blood. Even now, these ancient survivors continue teaching us lessons medicine is only beginning to understand. It's remarkable. The animal that survived Earth's greatest extinction may still hold answers to challenges we haven't yet faced. What other secrets remain hidden beneath scales that seem almost unchanged since prehistory? So, did crocodiles survive because they were stronger? No. Did they survive because they were smarter? Not exactly. Perhaps they survived because they demanded less from a broken world. When food vanished, they waited. When temperatures changed, they endured. When ecosystems collapsed, they needed remarkably little from what remained. Their greatest adaptation wasn't domination, it was restraint. And maybe that's the part evolution rarely celebrates. There's an uncomfortable beauty in that idea. For millions of years, Earth has rewarded brilliance, but during its darkest moments, it has often rewarded patience. The crocodile doesn't look like the future, it looks like the past, yet somehow it keeps arriving in tomorrow. And perhaps the real mystery was never why crocodiles survived the extinction that killed the dinosaurs. Perhaps the deeper question is this: if another impossible change arrived one day, would humanity survive because of everything we've built, or because of everything we learned to live without?